The Church Growth and Giving Show, your resource for growing faithful communities. Brought to you by Vanco, helping tens of thousands of churches thrive for over 20 years. Join Jordan and Andy as they share insights drawn from decades of church giving and engagement expertise.
Today we're tackling a big question: what really makes a church thrive? We're going beyond attendance and exploring spiritual growth, engaged leadership, and a sense of purpose that runs deep in the community.
That's where it gets interesting. A thriving church isn't just big, it's alive in the truest sense. There's movement, there's connection, and there's this clear alignment with Scripture. The early church in Acts 2 is a perfect example. They devoted themselves to teaching, fellowship, breaking bread, and prayer. That kind of commitment built a foundation we still lean on today.
I've been thinking about how churches today can measure that kind of vitality. It's easy to default to membership or attendance numbers, but that only tells part of the story. What really stands out is how active those members are. Are they joining small groups, volunteering, sharing their faith?
That's key. Spiritual depth isn't about how full the sanctuary is, it's about how full hearts are. When prayer, fellowship, and evangelism become the norm, something special happens. Also, churches that explore creative worship formats tend to see more sustained growth. Lifeway's research shows a 10% boost for churches that take that approach.
So it's not just about sticking with tradition, but adapting when it helps the mission. There's also that balance between keeping things grounded in Scripture and being willing to innovate around that framework.
It can be tricky. Take Lakewood Church, for instance. Massive outreach, but they've maintained a consistent message, or West Angeles Church. They started with 50 people and now they're ministering to tens of thousands. What they have in common is focus. Whether it's through television, community programs, or discipleship models, they equip people for ministry and create real impact.
Speaking of impact, one metric that caught my attention was baptisms. It's such a personal milestone, and it's also a signal that someone has decided to make a lasting commitment to their faith journey. When churches see regular baptisms, that's a sign that something meaningful is happening.
Baptisms, testimonies, volunteerism, those are signs of transformed lives. Another is outreach. When churches provide healthcare, build homes, or send people to serve globally, they're living out the gospel in ways that go far beyond their walls.
I like that you brought up testimonies. A powerful story of transformation not only reflects spiritual growth, it invites others in. When someone stands up and shares how their life has changed, that inspires movement, motivates the congregation, and builds unity.
And today, churches have tools that can help track these things, not just attendance, but engagement. Digital check ins, survey feedback, and even simple group participation logs offer insights into how people are connecting.
So, if we're looking at signs of a thriving church, we're really talking about a blend of spiritual depth, real world outreach, and consistent connection.
Yes, a thriving church is rooted in purpose and actively nurtures that purpose. Every ministry, every message, every interaction is focused on making disciples and building up the community.
So, now what can church leaders actually do to help make that happen? Let's talk about the kind of leadership that helps churches not just grow, but thrive.
A thriving church always begins with intentional leadership. That means equipping believers through strong discipleship programs. When people are mentored, when they're challenged and encouraged to grow in their faith, they naturally become more connected to the life of the church.
Good point. And discipleship doesn't need to be complicated. One-on-one mentoring or small group gatherings can be incredibly effective. There's something powerful about sitting down with someone who knows your name, knows your story, and walks with you through your spiritual growth.
It creates trust, and that trust lays the groundwork for unity, which is another cornerstone of a healthy church. When people feel heard and like they belong, they stay. Ephesians 4:3 talks about making every effort to keep unity through the bond of peace. That's not just poetic, it's practical.
Unity really is what holds it all together. And when disagreements do come up, and they will, It's about navigating them biblically, listening, seeking resolution, even bringing in someone neutral if necessary, but always with the aim of reconciliation.
It's also about preparing people for ministry and evangelism. Churches grow when their members take ownership of the mission. Ephesians 4:12 says, "The role of church leaders is to equip God's people to do his work." That means training, role modeling, and giving people real opportunities to serve.
You can't expect people to step into ministry if they don't feel prepared. That's where evangelism training is so valuable. Showing members how to start faith conversations and approach people with compassion and clarity makes a big difference.
The same goes for ministry roles. Whether it's organizing an outreach event or helping at a food pantry, people need clarity on what's expected, and when they're well supported, they grow in confidence and impact.
Don't forget prayer and Bible study, ongoing, not just something you do on Sunday. When churches offer smaller group studies or weekly prayer gatherings, it deepens relationships. It also gives people space to wrestle with questions and find answers together.
One best practice that always stands out is keeping study groups small. 8 to 12 people is ideal. That way, everyone participates, no one gets lost, and you build real community. Add some structure to that, maybe using the observe, interpret, apply method, and the group stays focused and engaging.
It's also a chance for members to connect Scripture to their daily lives. When someone shares how a passage helped them get through a tough week or a hard decision, that's powerful. It makes the Bible feel alive and real.
That brings us to two qualities I think are often overlooked: mentorship and accountability. Churches that establish solid mentorship programs help members stay spiritually strong. When someone checks in on you, encourages you, prays with you, that's life changing.
It goes both ways. Mentors grow too. They learn to listen better, communicate clearly, and model what it means to live out their faith. But it has to be intentional. Matching people thoughtfully, offering some training, and keeping lines of feedback open, that's what makes it sustainable.
Mentorship brings accountability, which protects spiritual health. When people know someone is walking alongside them, they stay engaged. They're less likely to drift, and they feel more invested in the life of the church.
So the balance really comes down to structure and relationship. Programs are great, but without a human connection, it can feel a little transactional. What churches need is both.
That's right. It's about filling hearts, not about filling calendars. And when leaders make space for authentic fellowship and prioritize relationships, the church becomes a real family.
That sense of family really ties directly into unity. I've seen churches where members linger after services just to talk or pray together. That extra time says a lot. People want to be there. They care about each other.
And churches can encourage that by intentionally creating opportunities for connection, whether it's home dinners, regular potlucks, or just pausing during service to recognize needs in the community. Those moments build bonds.
It all goes back to the Great Commission. That call from Matthew 28, go and make disciples. It's not optional. It's core to what the church is meant to do.
The Great Commission isn't just for pastors, it's for every believer. When a church makes that its heartbeat, everything shifts. Events become about outreach, programs become about equipping, and even the budget starts reflecting that mission.
Heartbeat is the perfect word for it. That's the energy you feel when a church is aligned with purpose. And when outreach is part of that purpose, the ripple effect spreads into the community.
You start seeing lives changed, stories shared, and people stepping into faith for the first time. It's measurable and helps track growth.
Even social impact. Are more families being supported? Are there literacy programs, health services, shelters? Churches that engage with their community deeply are fulfilling something really important.
Right, and to do that well, they need healthy leadership, servant leadership, where pastors and elders aren't there to control, but to serve. Mark 10:45 reminds us that even Jesus came to serve, not to be served.
That's a powerful model. Servant leaders make themselves accessible. They listen. They stay humble. But they also lead with clarity and care. They're not micromanaging. They're empowering.
Church governance plays a role here too. Clear roles for elders, deacons, and pastors help keep things running smoothly. The focus is always on shepherding, not hierarchy.
And when leaders are supported, when they get breaks and they're encouraged to rest, that's how you prevent burnout. That's how you keep their hearts in it for the long haul.
It also helps them stay accountable. No one's perfect, but with regular feedback, honest conversations, and biblical guidance, leaders can stay aligned with the church's mission.
All of this leads us to one last thought: shared vision. A church thrives when everyone's pulling in the same direction, not just the leadership, but the members too.
That vision has to be clear on the website, in the bulletin, and from the pulpit. People should hear it, see it, and feel it. Every event and meeting should reflect it.
When someone joins a church, they should know what it's about, what it believes, and what it values. That's what keeps people connected and builds unity. So the message here is it's possible. A thriving church isn't out of reach. It takes commitment, strategy, prayer, and purpose, but the rewards are undeniable.
And the tools are out there. Resources like mentorship guides, discipleship training, even event platforms, they all help support that growth. But it starts with intention and leaders who are ready to build something lasting.
If you're listening and thinking about how to apply all this, start small. One group, one training, one conversation. That's where transformation begins.
And Vanco's got hundreds of tools ready to support that journey. From event management to outreach ideas, it's all designed to help churches grow stronger together. You can download them in the show notes below.
Thanks for joining us today on the Church Growth and Giving Show. Now, it's your turn to take what you've learned, apply it, and spark growth in your faith community. Please like and subscribe to our channel for the latest updates. It also helps support us in creating free materials and content to empower you and other churches in your mission.